Good afternoon. My name is Todd. I know there aren't many people right out here in front of me, but I know there are people that can hear. As I said, my name's Todd. I do missions work here in southeast Minnesota and northeast Iowa. I am out here today to bring to you the good news of Jesus Christ and to extol to you the glory of our high and holy God. The Psalms are a book of songs and prayers and teachings that were meant for the good and the edification of the Israelites, of the Hebrew people. And one of those psalms is Psalm 115, and it starts out like this: "Not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory. For the sake of your steadfast love and your faithfulness, why should the nations say, where is their God? Our God is in the heavens, and he does all that he pleases. Their idols are silver and gold and the work of human hands. They have mouths but do not speak, and eyes but do not see. They have ears but do not hear, and noses but do not smell. They have hands but do not feel, feet, and they do not walk." Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. All the reading of the word, amen.
Amen. I'm Todd.
Chris.
Chris, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
That's what I should have been paying closer attention. This is what I do. So I would ask, but most people wouldn't wear Iowa Regular Baptist Camp shirt if they weren't.
Right, amen.
So
I just listened to a show. Have you ever heard of Amir Sarfati?
Name sounds really familiar.
He's a prophetic teacher, preacher, kind of and he had a guy on that was talking about the public reading of God's word, a ministry of his, and that, you know, going back to ancient, the Old Testament.
Even the early days in the church
right,
and the New Testament, it's a lost
it
practice. I don't want to say art. It's not an art, but it's a lost practice today, and it was really how the gospel was advanced into the world. And I think, especially in the United States, we're so comfortable in our Christianity. And when I say Christianity, I'm opinion with that really. What was your name again? Chris, yeah. I think, Chris, I paint with a broad brush, but really, I think we're so comfortable in our faith, and there's so many people that profess to be Christian, that the idea that anybody would go out and do something like this in public is just stupid. Why would you do that? We're all Christian. We're American, and we're Americans, and so sometimes the biggest detractors I get are from, or detractions that I get, or protests I get, are from professing Christians who tell me there's no place for this in the public. And
I completely disagree.
And
100% disagree.
Like I was just down by the sand volleyball tournament, and I was preaching, and they called law enforcement on me, and they were really upset because when they told me to shut up and go away because they all know the message and they're all Christian, I said, no, like you're literally telling someone who's out here preaching the gospel to go away. That tells me you have an unconverted heart, that you hate God, because when you tell somebody who's preaching the gospel to shut up and go away, you're ashamed. Romans 1:16, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so when you show that kind of shame, there's really only two options. You're either lost, think you're saved, or the second option is you're so afraid of what people think if you acknowledge your faith publicly that you run the risk of having God say later on, get away from me, I never knew you, which is still ultimately you aren't saved. So, and I don't mean that everybody needs to be doing this.
Right.
I think there should be more men out doing things like this.
Yep.
I personally believe that, but I don't think it's for everybody.
Right.
Trust me, I do this with much fear and trembling. I was shaking like a leaf, and I do this a lot. I'm down here. I'm in Lanesboro a lot. I live over in Spring Valley.
I see you got the camera on the GoPro.
Nothing for you. It's and so I had interaction with law enforcement, and he was
they're doing their job, and
right.
They're kind of.
He didn't do anything. I'm not trying to say he was wrong.
A guy to lose his job over it.
No.
But I wouldn't be in agreement. Like, I can see if you're a law enforcement, like, you're kind of stuck, like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm not in agreement with my superiors on this, but...
He's my dad.
Yeah. Oh, it's nice to what's your name?
Gavin.
Gavin?
Yeah, Gavin's not afraid to...
You're not afraid? You like these, then. You'll like these. Yep. They're a little longer, but they're really good.
Yeah. He was getting his hair cut and struck up a conversation with a guy and he said, you know, are you a Christian? Just flat out, you know, and what do most people are pretty, you know, 9, 8-year-old, they're not going to be too threatening. And he's like, well, I go to church. And he's like, well, that's not what I asked you.
That's right.
Like, yeah.
I use that a lot when I'm doing the, I do that a lot when I'm out in public, and I'll tell people, it's like, going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than standing in a car in a garage with a Lamborghini is going to make you a Lamborghini or a Chrysler or whatever the case might be. And you know, and I say that from personal experience, you know, because I lived from the time I was 5 until I was 33 professing Christ, professing. I did all the right stuff, and I was in a fundamentalist Baptist church. I was doing everything. Now I stopped going to movies, stopped listening to secular music. I mean, I wouldn't even have a single beer ever. I mean, it was just like, to me, just even alcohol passing my lips would have been sin, and I was really holding on to that. And they wouldn't teach that that's how you're saved. Right. But I was attesting to my salvation because I was doing those things. So see, I'm proving I'm saved. And I stumbled across a show called Way of the Master on TV. Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron, and it was through that ministry, watching Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron preach on the streets of California, that I'm like, wow, that's what Christians should be doing. And one night it hit me. Like, I had no concept of the holiness of God. I had no concept of the high and righteous standard of a God who has wrath reserved for sinners. And like, that hit me, and I'm like, I never understood that. I never understood that God was holy. I never understood that God was righteous and had a right to judge. And more than that, not only did he have a right to judge, but he was going to judge everybody, not based on our good works, but based against the good works of Christ. And if you don't add up and you don't have Christ, it's bad news for you. And when that hit me, I was like, and I was wrecked. I was devastated on the floor of my bedroom for hours, just weeping and confessing. And that was in 2004, and ever since it's been, no, I've struggled, you know, we all do.
Oh, right,
But,
we're flesh.
You know what?
So we're glorified.
I live in the Twin Cities.
oh yeah? Yeah? I'm sorry to hear that. I was born up there.
What about?
St. Mary's.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived there for a few years, and then we moved down to Iowa.
Grove.
Cottage Grove? Are there a lot of cottages in Cottage Grove?
Big cottages, some of them.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, keep doing what you're doing.
Well, you guys
brother.
have a great day. Thanks for
Yeah.
stopping and saying
Yeah.
hi. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
it. So I hope you guys have a good weekend.
Yeah. I hope you don't get too harassed. But
Oh, I'm normally all right.
Yeah.
It happens. People hate the preaching of the gospel, you know?
Right.
So it's
foolishness to man.
I hate to say it, but you're kind of doing something right when you're meeting resistance. If
Yeah.
no one ever says anything negative, you might be compromising. So it was nice to meet
Yeah.
you. You have to read those, and your dad's got my email address. You have to let me know what you guys think of those.
Yeah, right
And
on.
then give them to somebody.
Did you write them or?
They're on. No. This one is written by a guy who runs Wretched Radio and TV named Todd Friel.
Oh,
They
I know
picked
Todd
me.
Friel. I don't know him, but
they-
I mean, I know his.
They asked me to be part of the project to hand those out, so they send me quite a few, and then they sent me about 8 cases of these, and I take them to college campuses. And so I've been for the last several years, I've been partnering with Wretched.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm familiar with Todd Friel.
please look me up. I'd love to hear from you guys again.
All right, we'll
Look,
do.
you have a great day.
Yeah, you too.